Hello and welcome. We will start momentarily. Hello and welcome to the Oklahoma Public Library Presents Ancestry.com tutorial. We are live on Facebook. My name is Katie. I am the Adult Services Librarian here in Algoma. And I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about Ancestry.com and how you can work on building a family tree and research your family. So how many of you have ever been curious about your family tree and where you may have come from? So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about and how you can get started. This is a very basic course, how you can get started with it. This is just one of the tools that you can utilize that is out there. There's also Family Search. There's also other programs out there that you can use. Ancestry is just one of the programs that you can use that the library has a library edition that you can utilize. You can come in and use it, and through the end of the month, you can actually access it from home with your library card, which is a great benefit to have. So why would we want to research our family tree? That's a big question that many people are always wondering. And even as far back as grade school, you may have had your kids or even yourself have been asked to complete a project of doing a family tree, either to your grandparents or your great-grandparents, or kids or yourself. You had to go and ask mom or dad, where did I come from? Where are my parents from? Where are grandma and grandpa from? What nationality are we? Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't know. And this is like a great way to kind of figure out where are we from. America is a melting pot. That's one of the things that I've learned in history. So it's one of those things that we are able to kind of research. You get to become kind of like a detective. It's a hobby for many people, and it's even a job for a lot of people. It's a way to find out who you are, where you and your ancestors come from. It's just one of the many platforms you can use to collect genealogical research, including names, important dates, records such as military documents, marriage documents, even death records, even obituaries, photos are sometimes found online, and so much more. As I said earlier, the library does have a free edition, so Owl's Nest does have uh, a free edition that anyone with an InfoSoup card can access, and it does make it more accessible. Otherwise, if you don't have a library card, you can access it for free, and I am going to be talking about it without paying for it. So I personally use the free version. Otherwise, you can pay for a subscription with Ancestry. It can be a little pricey, but it depends on what you want to do with it. How far you want to go and find out about your ancestry. So how much do you want to become a personal detective and learn more about your family tree? So what we need to do to get started, you will need to have an email address and a password to set up this program, and a computer of some sort. So either a phone, like a smartphone, and you will need to have some idea of where you're wanting to start, either your immediate family or yourself. So today I'm actually going to start with some family members in my family. So we're going to go to Ancestry.com. We're going to take you on a little journey. So this is the home page for Ancestry. This is the free version. This is not the library edition right now. So this would be if you are coming in at home and you don't have a library card. So I'm just taking you through like anyone else. So this is the home page that you would encounter. And we're just kind of looking at what's here on the home screen. And they do a fairly good job of telling you how to utilize Ancestry. Tutorials are on here. There's some information about Ancestry DNA, which I have not used at all. Talks about newer products that they have, their costs if you want to do it. You can do a free trial, which is 14 days. However, if you forget to cancel your subscription, you will be billed for it. So just a little FYI. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a login. I personally already have one, but I created a new email address so I can show you the steps of how to do it. So bear with me. My internet is a little slow right now. My computer needs a little more coffee. So this is going to be our login screen once it comes up all the way. And depending on your internet, of course, it will be a little bit faster or slower depending on where you are. It could also be my computer is a little slow. So because I have not signed in for the first time here, if you have already had an account with Ancestry, this is where you would sign in here. I am not going to show my passwords, but because I have not signed in before, I'm going to sign up for free. So sign up today for free. I am not a member with this new login that I'm going to be signing in with you guys today. So it's going to take us to a new screen. I have been an Ancestry user for probably over 5 years. I have done a freelance project for another individual where I and another librarian where I volunteered at went through and did some extensive research for them. It's not always accurate in times, especially if you don't know the family. So the family that I'm going to be looking at is actually my own because I can show you more information. So I am going to show you how to create an account. So this is a dummy account. So I created an account. So here's my account. Let's see if it'll take it. So you always want to make sure that your email's address matches when you're putting it in here. So when you create a password here, it's telling you that it must be at least 8 characters long, must contain one number, must contain at least one letter or special character, and must not be a well-known or common password. So sorry, you can't do 1 through 8, and you can't do the alphabet. So I already have a password in mind. So I am typing it in right now. And I'm gonna click continue. Oh, telling me something is not right with my password. Well, that sometimes happens. I didn't confirm my password. That would be why. So you want to confirm your password. Make sure it goes in. Same as create your password. And it's not confirmed. And when it's confirmed, it will show 2 green check marks here. So it's one there, one down here. Sometimes it takes you a couple times. It's not done. So I'm gonna redo this. There we go. Now I got a matching password. And it's always a good idea that you write down your username and password somewhere in a safe place. Don't try to memorize it. No, I'm not going to save it to my computer. This is just telling me how much it would be to buy a subscription. I am just going to leave it as is. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So I want to go to my home page. Okay, so you can subscribe here. This little leaf right here is a hint. So as you build your tree, it will provide hints for you if you have any records that have popped up with your tree. This is a mailbox. So if other users have sent you a message, so it's telling me I have a message. So this is basically telling me there's a message team. They sent me about a message. Oh, telling me about about to begin a journey of discovery, and we're so excited for you. Everyone gets this message, and it just tells me a little bit about tips to get started. I can add names, dates, and locations I already know. Just tell me to look for the leaf. It's the Ancestry hint, so right here. So it will highlight green. And it'll have like a number of how many there are. I think right now in my account I have like 99 plus hints in there. But I have to confirm a lot of them. There's a lot of cross-checking going on in mine. And then if you click on Ancestry DNA, it would take you to the page that talks about that one. Tells me if I want to learn more about full access to Ancestry, I can try a 14-day trial, or I can get a subscription. So that's what's in my messages. This icon is my profile. We'll go to my profile, my account, site preferences, email settings, and how to sign out. And this just shows my name right here. On this side, next to Ancestry logo, it's my home. So if I click home, this is the home screen. So it's going to always welcome me. It's going to say, welcome, my name, library. But I'm really Katie, but my account is Library Dewey. So it's going to tell me the different ways that I can explore. I can build a family tree, explore ethnicity, I can view my subscriptions, I can look at record collections. You can look at U.S. censuses. These are all the U.S. censuses available that you can look at. to look at different collections such as birth, marriage, death records, military records, other records available, message boards. You can connect with other members. There's just so much information on here. Trees, this would be how you would start a new tree. You can upload a GED.com, so this would be like another tree that you've started elsewhere. You could search, so this would take you to a search screen. And this would be like the different collections in here, and we'll get to that momentarily. I'm just going through all these tabs up here. There's just so much that you can cover in here. Let's give it a moment to finish uploading here. It's got so much information. It's got to finish uploading for us. Yeah, I have been pretty impressed. If you have a subscription, you can also get into like newspapers.com, archives.com, full3.com, which is military records. But free subscription, you can do snapshots where you can look at records, and I'll show you a couple of them once they get entering into people that I'm going to show you how to do. Okay. Okay, I must be. Okay, so search will show us all collections, census, voter lists, birth, marriage, death, immigration, travel, public member trees, military, card catalog, member search, DNA, so that's Ancestry DNA, health, this is another thing that's newer on Ancestry. This is a paid part of Ancestry. So Ancestry DNA and Ancestry Health are paid. They are not free. Help is a great place to go if you get stuck. I would go to the community a lot when I first started using Ancestry. In the community or message boards, and read through the comments, because a lot of times if I didn't know how to do something, I would scroll through the questions on there and read the answers, and there were a lot of questions and answers there that I could easily read. And you can also hire an expert to help you with your genealogy research, but I like doing it on my own. Extras, there are apps for your phones, your iPads, your tablets that you can utilize. I actually have Apple products, so I have the app on my iPad and my phone. So when I travel and I find out that someone is actually related to me, or a relative just recently passed away, I can quickly add them into my family tree very quickly. You can also make like a photo book and a poster with Ancestry. You can gift a membership to people. So there's a lot of cool things. So let's get started on actually creating a tree, because then you can actually see a little bit more of what's going on. So I'm going to create a tree. So I'm actually going to do one side of my family. So I'm going to start a new tree. So I'm going to go to trees, start a new tree. So I'm going through a guided tree builder. So it's going to want us to tell a little bit about ourselves. So I'm going to add a person, and I'm going to do a male. Well, it's actually doing me, so I'm a female. Birth year. I'll leave that blank. So it's going to ask you for yourself, and it's right there, right in here. So I'm actually going to skip a couple generations and just add in a relative here. So you want to put the father, so William. So this is actually my second great grandfather that I'm putting in. And a lot of times I actually have this information already pre-written down. So that's the important thing about when you do any sort of genealogical research, is to have some starting point. You don't want to come into it blind. You come into it blind, you're going to be lost. Place of birth is actually down one. So when it gives you a date like this is the format that it wants. It wants the actual date first, the month second, in a year third. Here in the States, we do month first, day second, then the year. But in Europe, they do the date first, then the month. So then I'm putting down where he was born. And he was born in Germany. And he was born here. And he is not living, he's deceased. So he died in September of 1943. What I might do is go backwards and change mine a little bit. Forestville. So as you can see, Forestville has a couple different names on here. Oh, hold on one moment, it's being picky on me. I'll just pick one maybe. So it's not letting me change it right now, but I will save it and then I can show you how to edit. So this one was wrong, so I'm going to go back in and edit. Forestville, Door County, Forestville, Wisconsin. Oh, there we go. So it's city, county, state, country. I'm going to highlight that, save. So I'm going to change. So this is actually a huge gap in between right here, just so you know. So that's editing the father, so I'm going to add a mother. So he was married to my great-great-grandmother. Again, I had her name, her maiden name, so we don't put her married name, we put her maiden name. In Ancestry, we only use the maiden name of the woman. We don't put the married name. If you don't have the maiden name, we would leave it blank. So you will find as you do it that it will make it harder to find hints. So place of birth, I don't know where she was born. Is she living? No. Chances are she wouldn't be living if she was born in 1869. So date of death, she died in 1939. And she died in Forestville, Door, and she was in Wisconsin, in USA. Okay. Save. All right. So once I added these two people, I now have father and mother above each individual, if you noticed. I do not have anyone here. Now, if I was married, I could add someone with me if I wanted to, but I don't. So I have created a tree. So we'll go back up. So we have added onto the tree here. We went as far as we can, right? Oops, hello. I don't know where else I can go. See if I can go up one more. Let me give you one more level, and that will help us go up one more. So I can go up one more level with him. So his father is Ferdinand. I'm just making sure I spell his name correctly. Bear with me one moment, please. He is not living. He was actually born. I have a date for him. And a location. So I got my dates for these great grandparents from a book that was done for genealogy. So I do know that these are correct. So I am not just pulling them out of thin air. It should autofill for the most part, unless if it has multiple locations. So right now it's not showing anyone up there, but that's okay. We just want to have a start. And then he was married to Wilhelmina Amelia. also known as me. Hints. And she was born in October 1834. Kind of cool to see where your ancestors came from. Oh, I spelled that out. She is not living. She would be very old at this time. She died in October 1892. Okay. All right. See, we already have a hint here. This is our first hint. We have another hint. How cool is that? So let's take a look at what the hints are. So if we hover over the hint and click on it, it's going to take us to see what the hints are. Give us to the hint momentarily. It's processing. I'll get to it momentarily. There we go. See what the hint is. All right. So these are our hints. It's telling us there's 7 new hints. And it's saying there's undescended 0, ignored 0, accepted 0, life story, facts, gallery, hints. Gallery would be pictures. This is Dewey's family tree, so that's my family tree. Tree search. You can search for everyone we just put into the tree. So where we just were was our tree. Search, tools, edit. So we can edit in here. So if we click here, we can edit this information. We can edit this information. This is auto. So this is the information that came from the hint. The hint leaf, the ancestry hint leaf. So this is saying that there is an immigration passenger list here. Because we are in the free version, some of these we cannot access right now. But what we can do is you can sometimes look at it as a quick look at. Member trees, sometimes you can look at, or you can review it or ignore. US Find a Grave, you can access those. They just take you to another website. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to that one, because that's a great way to find out more information about the individual. It will actually show you more information. It will take you to an external source. You find out more information such as what cemetery they're buried in. Do they have a bio? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They might even have an obituary tied to this record that the family may have submitted to US Find a Grave. They may even have a picture submitted. You can even go to the URL. So there's a picture of the headstone. So we're going to take a look at it. And then I'll show you how to attach it to your record. So we're going into Ferdinand Hosh's record here. I'm going to take a look at it. Oh. Oh, yep, there we go. So, looking at it, they're estimating he was age 70 to 71. So in here they didn't have his exact date of death on here. The family must have chose not to put date of birth, full date of birth, and date of death. So it's showing that there's a photo. So this is a photo. It does have his wife's name on it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so that looks right. We're going to go back a page. So yes, this one does belong to us, so we're going to say yes, it does. And sometimes spelling is going to be different. You can go by what is correct in your family genealogy. Sometimes when they come over on the boat, it's spelled phonetically versus how they choose to spell it. So phonetically would be how immigration chooses to hear it. So if it's saying new, this is something new that was added. And then what we would do is we'd say save to your tree. So now that's been added to our tree. You even have a census record. So let's take a look at that. So they've changed his name here. So the one thing about census records I want to show you is sometimes they come up funny. And that is just how the census taker wrote down the name. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the wrong person. It just means that they spelled the name incorrectly. Again, it's probably the phonetic spelling rather than how it was spelled. So in here, Harsh, my last name is Hosh. People have called me Harsh, so it's happened. But you can look at the names, and if you recognize the names, Wilhelmina looks about right. Knowing the family, I know my family were farmers, so that's a good indicator it could be my family. So if you think it is, you know for sure, yes. If you know for a fact it is not, no. You think maybe you might need to do a little more research and you're not sure if they had kids or how many kids. I know that there was an Otto, but I'm not sure about the rest of the people. So I'm going to say maybe. We got a couple in there. So there's just a whole bunch of other things in here. And if we go back to our tree, take a look at it. Let's view our tree. See what it looks like now. So here's our tree. Oh, come on. So you can view your tree in a couple different ways. You can look at it from a pedigree standpoint. So this is a pedigree view. You can look at it from a family view, which is how it was before. This is like down here in this box is a bigger view of how you can look at it. And it just depends on how you would like to do, how you feel you would like to look at it. This is a home. You can zoom in and out here. If you figure out who another person is, you can click on it. You can add manually, or you can review details. So they're going to pull up more information, and you can add more information here. So they're saying this is who we think this person's father is, and do you think this is the father? Yes, no, maybe. You think so? Yes, no. Click no. If yes, maybe. So, and if you think they had kids, so here they're asking if I want to add a relative. I can click add a relative. Who would I like to add? I can add a brother, I can add a spouse, I can add a sister, I can add a child. Spouse, husband, wife. You can add that all in here. There's quick adds in there. You can share it. So yeah, there's a lot of fun things that you can do. If you ever have any questions, feel free to contact us. I like doing Ancestry and looking at it and helping people. For me, it is a hobby. I am curious to know more about my family, but remember, doing genealogy and just using Ancestry.com is not the only way. There are other ways to do genealogy. It's not just relying on it. Ancestry is just a tool to utilize to help with your search. There's a lot of research involved. It's talking to your family, it's talking to your relatives to find out, are there living relatives? Sometimes there are genealogy was already done already. In my family, someone had done extensive research already. So I was able to get a jump start on one side of my family. And right now I'm working on trying to go down from my dad's generation down to my generation and on. So it's a lot of work. And as I said, Ancestry.com isn't the only one that you can use. It's a great tool to help you organize and find other materials that you may not be able to access physically due to your location. And we do have other valuable research materials to utilize, like our microfilm. Newspapers have a lot of information in it as well. They have obituaries, they have marriage announcements, they have so much more information in it. It either tells when people retire, it tells when people have started a job sometimes, tells when people have moved. It just has so much information. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We are happy to help you get you started on your genealogy quest. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.